If the water doesn't have it and the body needs it, you know what it does? It leaches these minerals from your bone, which leads to osteoporosis, brittle bones. Yeah. So stop drinking RO and distilled water. Worst kind you can ever drink. Okay. Now, then you've got, okay, so on that side of the spectrum, anything that's there introduces oxidation and sickness. And vitamin C is minus 100, you've got green tea, which is about minus 200, and then you've got cod liver oil, which is about minus 300. Not too bad, right? Not too bad, right? So how many of you would fancy drinking about 1 liter of cod liver oil every day? You can't, right? An easier solution, of course, is to drink the water from this machine, which can go as far as minus 800. Okay, simple enough solution. Because everybody needs to drink water. But a lot of people don't realize the importance of drinking water. Yeah. You can go back now feeling a bit different, and I hope that causes that small change in your lifestyle. Okay. Second reason for degenerative diseases, acidosis, otherwise known as too much of acidity. Don't have to take my word for it, let me quote you some experts. Dr. Theodore A. Berudi wrote this book called Alkalize or Die. In a nutshell statement, he just said, you either choose to alkalize or you will die. Right? All disease come to the same root cause, too much of acidity. Segment in reverse aging said, removing acidic waste is more effective than diet or exercise. Okay. Why do people exercise? Besides wanting to look trim and fit, it's because of health reasons, right? So his point was, if you just push your body to be more alkaline, the body will start losing weight and you will get healthier. Okay? Because the body has got a coping mechanism. When you become too much acidic, too acidic, it goes into fat storage. And fat storage also gets compounded because the body's another coping mechanism is to take all the toxins and hide it in the fat, which makes the fat a bit more difficult to dissolve. Just by pushing yourself to alkaline level, you will start losing weight. And that will cause a lot of toxins to come out. Storing the toxins in your fat, just envelope like that, it's the body's coping mechanism, but it's like a ticking time bomb. Okay, because the toxin is not out of your system. Now, these are some of the other quotes from some other authors and experts, but I'm going to breeze through them. You can just read that. The most important discovery is by this guy called Dr. Otto Heinrich Warburg, okay, who discovered in 1923 a discovery which he published in his work called The Metabolism of Tumors. His research was validated, and that's why in 1931 he got a Nobel Prize for that, which means it is fact, right? 1931 he discovered this, but until 2011 I didn't know about this, and I don't think any of you knew about it either, right? He said, he demonstrated that all forms of cancer are characterized by two basic conditions, acidosis and hypoxia. Acidosis is too much of acidity, hypoxia is lack of oxygen. In a nutshell statement, he said this: cancer tissues are acidic, healthy tissues are alkaline. So if you take a cell and if you remove 35% of the oxygen from that cell, within 48 hours it will turn cancerous. I didn't know this. And so I kept on drinking a lot of this. And in a short while you will find out whether it's acidic or alkaline. Now, why is this? You know, cancer is the #1 scourge in Singapore and all the world over. The #1 killer. More than 30% of all deaths in Singapore is caused by cancer. Why is that so? You have cancer cells in you, I have cancer cells, every one of us has cancer cells. But why is it that in some people the cancer just goes berserk? Why? There must be a reason, right? And this is what happens. They found that a lot of degenerative diseases is caused by too much of acidic waste in your system. How does this acidic waste get in your system? The fact that you are alive and breathing, there's metabolic activity, there's acidic waste, because that is just a natural byproduct. Okay? The only mechanism by which the body gets rid of this acidic waste is with water. So every day that you're living and breathing, there is acidic waste that's coming into your system. And if you don't remove this acidic waste out of the system, your body will become acidic. And that problem is further compounded by the fact that when you are stressed out, your body becomes acidic. When you get angry very easily, your body becomes acidic. When you sleep late, your body becomes acidic. All of the food, most of the food that you eat that is cooked is all acidic. So in a typical day, there's always acidic forces pushing you towards the acidic spectrum. Now let me ask you a very simple question. In a day, when I just told you that every time there is a push towards acidity, must you also drink acidic water to compound the problem? Must you? Do you think it's wise to do that? No, right? This is where there's a lot of information out there and there's a lot of misinformation out there. And a lot of people will say, oh, your body has got to have a nice pH balance of about 7.48. And if you're too alkaline, it's not good for you. So you cannot drink 9.5 as advocated by this company, 9.5 alkaline level. The real truth is, your body doesn't need help to be acidic. Your body needs all the help it can get to be alkaline. Okay, so even drinking at 9.5 alkaline level, your body is still barely at that optimum pH level. And we know for a fact that there's absolutely no problem in drinking a 9.5 pH alkaline water, because that guy Hironari Oshiro, you saw how he looked at 73 years old, he has been drinking it for 20 over years. And when you see him on stage, he will move like a 40 or 50-year-old man. He's got so much of energy, even late into the night. I would take his lifestyle anytime, his energy level anytime. Because at 70 something, I know how my mom is. Okay? So you all want to know whether you are drinking acidic or alkaline, right? Am I right? So that's the next thing. Remember this. All we do to identify whether it's acidic or alkaline is we secondary school science. So we drop this litmus solution, right? It just changes color. It reacts with whatever the water is and changes color. If it's green, it's neutral. If it's on the purple spectrum, it is alkaline. If it's more towards the red and orange spectrum, it is acidic. Simple as that. So in a moment we will know about all these varying waters. Incidentally, if you happen to have a particular brand that you're very happy with and you are very convinced it's good, please, you can bring it over here and test it and you'll find out for yourself. Okay? So let's go. It doesn't matter how many drops I drop, it just changes color, and you will see in a while. Okay. So let me get a spoon. See, we think all water is the same. See, it's believing, right? Now we can see. Now, this is mildly acidic. It's a bit greenish, you know, it's more on the orangey color. That's cactus. Alpheus. Pretty bad, huh? Pretty bad. You have Dasani, which looks kind of like okay, lightly bluish. Yeah? And then you've got Pola. They're not that much different, right? And then you've got Evian, where I always tell people, you pay 3 times the amount for 1/3 the quantity. And earlier you saw that it was oxidative. It introduces oxidative stress. Now you saw that it is no different from all the other waters, right? And then you've got Life. Is this Life? I think you should start changing the name from now onwards, right? That's Life. And then you've got Sprite and this. Then you've got tap water. Incidentally, for tap water, I always try and tell people that, that in the city waters, it looks like this, but don't let it fool you, because they add something called lye. Because if they pump acidic water through the pipe, it will corrode the pipe. So they add a chemical compound called lye, which is actually not good for your system. So when you boil it, when the lye goes away, you will find out that this water is a bit more acidic than what it is. Yeah? And then you've got Kangen water, which is nothing more than just your normal tap water. After certain bad things has been removed and it has been ionized, it becomes like this. Incidentally, this water is not produced by adding any sort of chemical into it. It is just that whatever you have in your tap water, and the machine ionizes and the process concentrates all the alkaline buffers, and that's what you get this. So if you go and read after today's seminar, if you go back and read in the internet that they put all sorts of chemical to create this, it's all a total lie. nothing is introduced to create this drinking water. Okay, in fact all the acidic buffers are removed. That is the process you will find out in a short while. Again, earlier I asked you the same question when it came to oxidative stress. Now I'm going to ask you the same question. Is the difference small? Is the difference small? There's a reason why they say purple blood or royal blood, purple and all that. Because you want to be in that spectrum, as our client was go. All we try and tell people is this: if you are, or if you have been drinking any of this water over time, your body pH is in varying degrees of acidity. All you need to do is try and drink a little bit at a time and move towards a more healthier state of alkaline. Okay, as you keep drinking. As you keep drinking more and more over time, your body's pH will start changing. And the more alkaline you are, the more healthier you are. Simple enough? Simple enough? I've left those two purposely because these two fellas here they cause a lot more damage than what you think. You don't realize this, because no matter what I try and do, it's very difficult to try and change the acidity of this. We get all fooled by a lot of marketing hype saying that this water is good for you, produces energy and all this kind of crap, and we try and drink, and it's very difficult to change. In fact, one glass of 100 plus, you need 30 glasses of Kangen water just to neutralize it. 1 to 30. If you don't have Kangen water, I'm sorry, you don't stand a chance. Okay? But you want to know something else? This is the demonstration that I saw in November of 2011, and I decided I won't drink this anymore. Or Coke, or 7-Up, or Pepsi. It might do the same for you. I hope it does. Okay? Because this is diluted, isn't it? This is very diluted, isn't it? But imagine when you go for a party or a birthday or wedding and they serve you this and you say, yeah, what the hell, I still need some water, let's drink this. And this is what happens. A sip of this, after having tried so much to be alkaline, a sip of this brings you back to acidity. Brings you completely back to acidity. That's the kind of damage that those fellas do. That's why we've got a huge problem, health crisis, whether in the States or over here, because we are the pop culture where we grow up in McDonald's and they drink Coke and Pepsi like nobody's business. If you have teenage kids who have got this problem, get them introduced to this. One of the biggest reason for obesity is too much of acidity. Just move your body from acidic to alkaline, you will start losing weight naturally.
Yes.
Clear enough? Simple enough?
Yes.
Okay. Actually, even Kangen water can't fight with this. Okay. And all I did was I poured in a diluted amount of stuff. Have your own conclusions. Yeah. Okay. So that done. First reason was too much of oxidative stress. Second reason is too much of acidity. Now you can see how this water, just by changing the water, you've gotten rid of two of the main root cause of all diseases. Okay, let's go. So you've seen that. The third one is dehydration. In today's world, you've got two reasons why you get dehydrated. One of the basic reasons is you just don't drink enough water. Right? How many of you know you're supposed to drink 8 glasses of water? How many of you know? How many of you, come on, don't be shy. How many of you know that you need to drink? How many of you actually drink 8 glasses of water? Wow, very good. You've got a few people. Very good. Why 8 glasses? Because every glass is about 240 ml. Okay? In a typical body will lose about 2.4 liters of water just on a daily basis because of metabolic activity and sweating, and that's what happens. 2.4 liters. They say the general gauge is you need to drink about 30 ml of water for every kilogram of body weight, which means if you are about 60 kg, you need to drink 1.8 liters. If you are about 80 kg, you need to drink about 2.4 liters of water. But if you are outdoors and you are a bit more active and you sweat a lot, then you multiply by 45 ml per kilogram of body weight. That's how much you need to drink, just to replace the amount of water that you are losing. So first reason is we don't drink enough water, so dehydration. The second reason is the water that we drink doesn't get absorbed by the system. Why? Which is why we come down to this aspect of it. We know that 75% of our body is water. We know that the brain itself is about more than 80% water, blood is 90% water. So the water that you drink is really very important, right? The quality of the water. But to make things worse, as I said earlier, the water that you drink doesn't get absorbed by the system. Why? This is the reason why. Okay, let's forget about this man's treatment about why you need to be. I think you all are pretty much convinced that you need to be dehydrated. Okay, there are a lot of experts' quotation on why you need to be hydrated. What happens is our tap water has got this property. The molecules bunch up together. 15 to 20 molecules cluster up. So every cluster in your tap water is about 15 to 20 molecules. Okay? In nature, it is not like that. In nature, it is not like that. Why? Well, I've got a postulation as to why it is like that. I can't prove it, but it seems to be. I've seen information in YouTube and all that which says this is the reason why. Okay? And I'm going to try and explain it to you. You can go and Google and find out. See, this is tap water. This is ionized tap water, which is Kangen water. Okay? Can you tell the difference? You can't tell the difference, right? Unless you have some electron microscope. So if I turn around and told you, you have to take my word for it, this is microcluster, this is 15 to 20 molecules per cluster. This one is 5 to 6 molecules per cluster. Would that be acceptable? No, right? You need to see it to believe it, right? Now, I'm going to tell you a little bit about why this thing happens. Yeah, the water that is processed is different from the water that you get from nature. In nature, the water moves. It meanders on streams and rivers. It gets picked up by cyclone and stuff. There's evaporation. There's an expensive process that happens. But the processed water that you get in your tap has gone through processing, and more importantly, it has been highly pressurized to pump it through tiny tubes with a lot of right angles, so it doesn't allow the water to behave the way it's supposed to behave. Somehow or other, that process kind of like compacts all the molecules together, so surface tension becomes a bit tighter. That's why you get that. And because there are 15 to 20 molecules, they do not get absorbed by your cells. Our cells have got cellular membrane, and the membrane has got a gap, and the gap is called aquaporin. Aquaporin, from what I understand, is only one molecule thick. That's how water that's outside permeates into your cells. If you have got a bunch of molecules sticking to each other, 15 to 20 molecules, they sit outside of your cell, they can't go in effectively. Which is why when you drink 1 liter of water, your stomach will feel bloated and you'll have to go to the toilet in a short while. Very little gets absorbed. Microclustered water, the clusters are broken up, 5 to 6 molecules. Now they're sitting like that, and it's much more easier to penetrate into your cell. There's a lot of benefits to this. Because when more water goes in, this particular water goes in with a lot of antioxidant properties. There are free radicals intracellular and external to the cell. So when this water goes in, it neutralizes, and as same token, it also is able to pull it out, which is what you're going to see in a short while. Okay? So let me get on with the demonstration. Remind me, is this tap water? It is, okay. Tap water, Kangen water, and so I'm going to put a few more. Do it this way. Tap water. Because I'm reusing the cup, I'm going to like put it out. Okay. Now, how do we demonstrate this? Sorry, but any one of you got tea bags here? Can you please bring it to me? Thank you. Same thing happened as before. Forgot about the tea bags.
How many do you need?
Just two. Thank you. Thank you, my savior. Okay. How we demonstrate this is very simple. We've got this Japanese green tea bag. Again, not produced by this company. It's just any old green tea that you can get anywhere. We try and use these tea bags to simulate our cells. Okay, so you've got two tea bags. By the way, all this water that I'm using is all room temperature water. Okay? If you can touch it and see, you will find that it's all room temperature water. So when you want to make tea, of course, you need something, you need heat, right? Typically. So if I were to take this tea bag, and if I say I want to make tea, and I put it into this tea, into this water, obviously you won't be able to make tea, am I right? Am I right? Because you need the heat to separate out the molecules so that they can penetrate. But watch what happens with this. Is there a difference? You can start seeing it, right? It's already pulling the tea out, right? Well, you might think that this tea bag is faulty, so the tea cannot come out from this. So let me put it over here and pour Kangen water into it. See how it's beginning to extract the tea? And if you think that, oh, that's because it's already soaked again, so let me try it with tap water again and see whether you get the same effect. There's a difference, right? There's a difference, right? Why? Because the molecules are not sticking to each other. They're able to penetrate the tea bag and pull out the tea. So if you want to see it one more time, I'll take the same tea bag. Let me dip it in here and pour this. Incidentally, in case you don't believe that this is just nothing but just plain water, right? I can keep doing this. It'll go in and it'll keep extracting. But if you want to see it in a much more powerful way, let me show it to you in another way. Because when I initially showed this demonstration, somebody said, come on, Thiru, the tea bag, you're simulating the cells with the tea bag, but our cells we can't even see with the naked eye. Alright? So let me do this and tell me if it's just tea extracts. About the same? Roughly? Roughly about the same? Okay. Now choose. Can you choose any one of those cups? The one where I'm going to pour tap water. Okay, I'm going to pour tap water into that. Which one? The one on the right or the left? Which one do you think has got more essence?
To your left.
To my left has got more essence. Okay, so I pour tap water into the one which has got more essence. So what have I done? Basically just diluted it, right? Is there a difference in the color? Yeah. Because that water is able to go in and extract a lot more of tea out of the essence. Okay, not just with the tea bag. What we are trying to demonstrate basically is that this microclustering effect, so that the molecules are not sticking to each other. They're just 5 to 6 clusters per molecule. 5 to 6 molecules per cluster, so they're able to penetrate much better. See, when you drink water, you want the water to hydrate you, and that's what this water does. Big difference also again, isn't it? No, it's not just about drinking the water. That's why a lot of people, when they drink this water, same of quantity, you won't feel full. A lot of people say, oh, this water feels light, because it absorbs into the system much faster. Okay. Before I go on with the rest of the demo, there's just a few more things for me to show you. Oops, sorry. There are a few more other properties, so before I get on with that, I'm just going to show you. I'm going to prepare a little bit first. This is just your normal tomatoes that you buy from the market. Okay? Okay, we're going to try and simulate how you generally wash these tomatoes, right? Because if you go to the market, you buy it, you come back, this is what you do, wash. So on the other cup, I'm going to pour another water which is also produced by this machine. Okay, it's just a higher pH of 11.5. Okay, again, it is nothing but just water. Okay, with a slightly higher pH. I'm going to pour and I'm going to leave it. So okay, so that we don't confuse. This is tap water, this is Kangen water, and I'll come back to that in a short while. So let me carry on with the presentation first. Okay? So now we've seen that the Kangen water is microclustered. And because it's microclustered, it is able to hydrate your cells much more better, thereby eradicating or reducing the third major causes of all degenerative diseases. Okay? That's the effect of microcluster. Now, you may wonder, how did this fella come up with this thing? Why a product which actually produces like this, right? Because all he tried to do was mimic nature. Because they found that in nature, there are 7 different places in this world today. Lourdes in France is one of it. Lacote in Mexico is another. Nordenau in Germany is another. Then you've got Narana in India, and then Zamzam water in Saudi Arabia, and two more other places, I can't recall where they actually have water which actually heals people. So as you can see in those pictures, people actually queue up to try and collect this water. They bathe in it, they soak, they do all sorts of things. They find that they get cured, and they attribute it to the divine. So scientists back in the 1950s took all this water and decided to find out what's there in this water that's healing people, and they found a commonality amongst all of this water. People call it miracle water, but all of this water had exactly the same property. They were all microclustered, they were highly antioxidative in nature, and they were alkaline. That's why a machine was created, because they realized in trying to understand how this water became like that, they found that, okay, the way it was moving, the Earth's magnetic field and stuff like that got changed the property of the water. So now all we are trying to do is bring our drinking water back to that, because all of us cannot be making a trip to Lourdes in France or Nordenau in Germany or Lacote in Mexico to get this water. So now you've got a machine which can give you this miraculous water from the tap. Okay? That happens. The company produces about 5 different types of machine. Whichever machine that you buy, some of them are a bit more heavier duty than the other. They all produce the same 5 different types of water with 7 different pH. Okay, 3 of which is drinking water, and the others are used for many other purposes. Okay, so it's not just about drinking, just for drinking water. It does a lot of things. In a short while, we are going to find out what are those uses. Okay, this, in a nutshell, this is what happens to this water, the tap water. Your normal everyday tap water, Singapore water or whichever country you are, water. The first stage is it goes through a very high grade filtration system. That filter removes sediments, rust, lead, chlorine, bacteria and odor. Incidentally, chlorine is carcinogenic, it's cancer causing. And we don't know that, and we've got copious amounts of chlorine in the water that we drink. So that filter will remove that. It's very high grade, it will filter about 12,000 liters of water. That's the first stage. Once the water is filtered, it is then passed through an electrolytic chamber, where you've got a high grade, medical grade titanium coated with platinum, which act as anodes and cathodes. Acidic buffers have got a particular charge. They get attracted to one of the plates. Alkaline buffers get attracted to the other plate. And the water gets literally separated into 2. One with a higher concentration of acidic buffers, and the other one with a higher concentration of alkaline buffers. Remember what I am telling you, because there is no additive added to create this water. Okay, it is just your same normal tap water which has been ionized. And the process of ionization acts like what happens in nature's magnetic field. It also imbues the water with certain property, which is the microclustering property, and hydroxyl ions, which is the antioxidant property. Okay, so the water has got lots of oxygen, which your body needs. It has got lots of antioxidants. It is microclustered, so it goes in with all the good stuff that you need. Okay, so you get clean water, which is not ionized. Right? Because clean water is there's another use for it. In a short while I'll explain. And then you've got 3 levels of drinking water: 8.5, 9 and 9.5. And then you've got strong acidic water, beauty water, which is a skin's pH, which replaces all the toners that you ladies are used to using. And then you've got very strong acidic water and strong alkaline water. Okay? That's how the machine looks. The flagship model, the SD501, which has got about 7 plates, a very high output of water, and it's continuous ionizing machine. Okay, 3 clean water, you got beauty water, and you got strong acid water, strong alkaline water. Why so many different types of water? Right? Why so many different types of water? Basically because, first of all, for your health itself, I told you there are 3 basic reasons. 3 reasons why you've got degenerative diseases. With one fell swoop, just with one machine, just by drinking water, you can actually reduce all the three main root causes of disease. Okay? Too much of free radical damage or oxidative stress, you have got antioxidation. High acidity, you've got high alkaline. Dehydration, you've got microclustering. And so one machine gets rid of all of the three. And this is the main root cause of all degenerative diseases. Okay. Why the different types of water? Okay, before I go into that, this is one of the professionals who highly endorses this water. His name is Hiromi Shinya. He's so famous, there's a colonoscopy procedure named after him called the Shinya method. And the person who brought you here can show you some videos in the YouTube and all about lots of colons that this guy has operated on. He has done more than 370,000 colonoscopies. Okay? He is a professor of surgery of Albert Einstein College of Medicine, and he's also chief of endoscopy in Beth Israel Medical Center. How many doctors do you know in Singapore or anywhere who has done about 370,000 colonoscopies? So he's a renowned expert. He's written two books. One is called The Enzyme Factor, the other one is called The Microbe Factor. Because he's a specialist in colon. And he says this in his book. Okay, in his book, he says, in his office, says, I've got this Kangen machine. That's the water that he gives to his patient. And it's on record as saying that when he prescribes his Kangen water as part of his treatment protocol, his patients recover in 6 weeks, what would otherwise take 6 months. And then he goes on to show all his colonoscopies. Within 3 months itself, you see there's a big difference between the colons. Right? The other organization which recommends this water very strongly is the American Anti-Cancer Institute. This book, written by Robert G. Wright, who is the director of the American Anti-Cancer Institute, okay, in chapter 6, he talks about cancer diet, and he says that alkaline restructured water can save your life. This is his book. Okay? He's not a Kangen water distributor. He talks about all the alternative cures for cancer. And in it you've got a few testimonies, like in chapter 10 you've got living proof, page 212 and 227, about cancer survivors who survived from this. And in this book he recommends that you need to drink alkaline restructured water, and he very strongly recommends only this machine. He said you can go out there and buy whatever machine you want out there, because there seems to be a lot of machines. But for his own family, he'll only buy this because of the quality and because of its durability. Right? These are professional endorsements. Yeah? That guy over there, he's the living proof. He had throat cancer and he was given up for dead. He was given 3 months to live. And some of his friends found this water and they gave it to him. And he says within 48 hours of drinking this water, his ulcers in his mouth disappeared. Within 48 hours, he could eat food for the first time. And his testimony is found inside there. There are a few other cancer patients' testimonies found inside this book. Now, these people have got nothing to do with the company, or they are not any of the distributors. Okay, you can read that book for yourself. There are a few other testimonies. I'm not going to go through that. Let's quickly go down to what are the main uses of this water. Okay, alkaline water, type 1. It's a powerful antioxidant. Type 1 meaning all the drinking water, which is 8.5, 9 or 9.5. You may wonder why 3 different pH. Okay? They always advise, because we have been living a very acidic lifestyle, sometimes switching immediately to 9.5 might be a bit too drastic for the body. So just to get yourself used to it, try with 8.5. After about 2 weeks, switch it to 9. After about 2 weeks, switch it to 9.5. And for some reason, there are very few people in the world who can't take 9.5, so they stick to about 8. But whichever it is, whether 8 or 8.5 or 9.5, is good for you to stay at that level forever. Okay? So it's a powerful antioxidant. It balances your body's pH. It does a couple of other things, which is one, it gets readily absorbed by the system, by your body. It's a powerful detoxifier, because when it goes inside, it neutralizes all your free radicals and pulls it out, just like what it did to the tea bag. You saw how fast it could go in. It does the same thing when you use this to cook food. It goes in, pulls out the enzymes and the nutrients. When you eat fruits and vegetables, or food generally when you cook, what you want is the nutrients and the enzymes. And with this water, it's able to absorb a lot more. So you will use lesser ingredient, or even if you use the same amount of ingredient, you'll get more of it into your cells, into your system. because it's able to pull them out, just like what it did with a tea bag, and it's able to then bring it into your cells. Okay, so your cells get a lot more nutrients. It's a superior hydrator, as I said. It's microclustered, so it goes in very fast into your system. So if you don't believe me, test this water, drink about 1 liter of it, and see how you feel. You'll find that you won't feel bloated. You'll feel light. The general comment I get from people is that, oh, this water is very light. Yeah? It enhances absorption of all those enzymes and nutrients, and then finally it increases the oxygen intake. The water has got something called hydroxyl ions. Hydroxyl ions, the chemical symbol is OH minus. When you combine two OH minus, you get a H2O plus an extra O. That is actually oxygen, which your cells need. A nutritionist called Charles R. once gave a talk. When I listened to it, he said a cell, in order to be optimum in function, it needs 4 things. Okay? Everything in your body, when you break it down, it goes down to a cell. Put cells together, you get tissues. Put tissues together, you get organs. Put a few organs together, wrap it around the body, you get your body. Right? So basic building block is cells. So the cells to be optimum in its function and its replacement level, it needs 4 things. It needs water, it needs oxygen, it needs something called glutathione, which your body produces by itself, and it needs nutrients. This water, with one fell sweep, gives you 3 of the 4. Glutathione, unfortunately, your body has got to produce it by itself. Yeah. So there's water, there's oxygen.